Hey Home Inspire, my name's Matt, this is our water tower conversion and I'd love to show you around. Ali, my wife and I met at university. We're both industrial designers and we've had a bit of a history of doing up our own homes. We spent 10 years on the previous one, which gave us a really good grounding. So when the tower came up, we found ourselves with sort of the skills and through some personal circumstance, the opportunity to take it on. And it's been 4 years of absolute delight, actually. I've been the primary designer and contractor and site manager and the responsible person in charge for the 4 years that it took. We started in December 2020 and finished in December 2024. When we bought it essentially blind. We'd never been on site, certainly never been inside it. As a piece of infrastructure, it's very difficult to get access. But we did buy it with planning permission from the previous owners who bought it at auction and taken on the difficult process of surveying, planning, listed, so conservation as well. The purpose with the tower was always to make it a holiday destination for ourselves and for other people. It's a lovely place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live here. There's an awful lot of steps, a lot of verticality, a lot of carrying, and boy, when you forget your car keys, you get across. We took about 6 months doing the planning, the redesign and everything. We designed it to be from the top down. So the reason why you come to a water tower is to spend time at altitude with the views. It's also exceptionally peaceful up there. We'll take you up later and have a look around. So the living space at the top, and then we put in 2 floors of bedrooms. So we've got 4 bedrooms in there, all of them double, all of them en suite. And then the lower levels, we've used those for plant and utility. And the first level is actually open to the elements where we put the heat pump. So it's all contained within the profile of the building. The silhouette's unchanged, which again, I think it's really important to the building as a place. Personally, I think it's an absolutely stunning piece of architecture. Edmund Percy, 1964. And Edmund Percy's done a few water towers, but genuinely, if he had designed it to be converted later, he couldn't have done a better job. Just the space between the concrete fins is perfect for doorways and windows. The space between the ring beams to put in floors, perfect. It gives you good head height bedrooms. And then the access shaft, perfect for a building control regulation staircase. Everything's just fitted. It's been absolutely wonderful. There are water towers actually all over the world. You tend to get them in slightly flatter areas. And the purpose of them really is to provide volumes of water at pressure during peak periods. A bit like a toilet system. When you flush the toilet, you get this flush, huge amount of water coming all at once. So the tower, this one would fill up gradually over the day. And then say, when everybody comes home from work and wants a shower, they've got a load of backup water to come through when it's needed. This one here serviced the village of Tonwell here and Seacombe Park, which is over there. Percy did a few others. There's a water tower in Cockfosters that he did, and another beautiful thing in Wiltshire. Yeah, so it's 23 metres of concrete. Essentially, it is a concrete column that runs all the way up to the roof with a tank, a toroidal tank around the top of it, and then these concrete fins which come down the side to provide some sort of triangulation. There's a ring beam at 2 levels in between, and then the floor of the tank is it's a good 400 millimetres thick, almost half a metre of concrete. We have cut out the sides of the tank to create the upper windows, but that aesthetic was what Percy had originally intended. Those strips of concrete, strips of dark, strips of concrete, strips of dark. Below the tank level, they were all just open, and we fill them all with windows now. But we also had to cut access into the tank from below and access out of the tank onto the roof. So there were 2 8-foot diameter cores. They were just core drilled all the way around. Another big job. And then we had to cut all the doorways to get out of the shaft onto the levels. You'll see as we go up later. A doorway on every level. Let's head on up. So we're here now at the foot of the stairs. This used to be the way in. These were just open with no glass. And this was the super heavy security door, which we've taken out, resprayed and put back in. And then actually, once you got inside this shaft, there were no stairs or anything for 5 metres where there was the first platform. So anybody coming to visit or maintain the tower had to have the right key to get through the big door, but also had to bring their own extension ladder. So the tower is round but octagonal, so there are 8 windows all the way around and therefore 8 concrete pillars. And we've actually designed it for 8 people, so it seemed like a nice idea to turn each one of these into a set of coat and shoes for 8 people all the way around. And if you want to come up, we'll show you up the stairs. Well, we came up first 3 flights of stairs, which gets you up to what we call level 1, although here we are at about 3rd floor in any normal building. This concrete shaft here, we've had to cut it out so that we can get the door in. There would have been obviously no access. The floors, just for your interest, are all suspended timber floors with hangers that we've put into the concrete all the way around. And then because of the wedge shape of it, they're sort of self-securing as they go down. The staircase, I actually designed these staircases myself and sent each piece out to be laser cut and folded, and then sent it to somebody else to be welded, and then somebody else to be powder coated. And then I actually assembled it myself in sections, step by step, all the way up. But an absolute joy, just seeing it go together and putting it in has been delightful. And it's a core part, obviously, of the whole building. This level here, being lower down, obviously has a smaller diameter. And so we used it as a utility level. This is where the washing machines are. So there's a small home office here. We've got the plant room, so all of the hot water storage, all of the controls for the fire alarm, the sprinkler system, all of the internet and data and the hubs for all of the smart home stuff all resides on this level. It's also furthest from the living accommodation and the least used. You really want to try and minimise the amount of stairs that you have to do in a day. So here we are on level 2. This is the first bedroom level. We've got 2 bedrooms here. They are of a slightly smaller footprint, but we managed to get in a double bed or twin beds, twin singles in each room, depending on what our needs are, what our guest needs are. Some of the aesthetics here, you can see that we've gone in for this lovely sort of canary yellow and the hardwood all round. Ali and I are real mid-century enthusiasts, and so we have sort of let that pull us stylistically in a certain direction. The floor we've put in is called a resin floor, and that is because when you're flooring in a round space, if you use tiles or floorboards or planks, you're chucking away an awful lot of corners to fill the space. And also we wanted to have a continuous floor all the way through. You'll see that the bathrooms and the bedrooms are only separated by a reeded glass wall. There's no transition over the threshold of the bathroom between bedroom and bathroom, and also similarly from the bedrooms onto the landings. And that was quite important to us. It's bulletproof, it's smooth, it's lovely, easy to clean, although it does show up the dust. Also, fire is a very big thing in a 23-metre tall tower with only one exit. So we've had to put in industry grade sprinkler system, fire system. Every door is 2 hours rated, every wall is 2 hours rated. Everything is intermittently sealed, every corner is masticed, so there's no chance of the fire getting into places where it shouldn't. The basic fire policy is that the shaft is a refuge. So once you're in the shaft, you are on your route out. So you only actually have to get from the bedroom to the shaft, not out of the building before you're safe. The staircase is made in sections, and each section just stacks. So there's a central pole inside all of that lot, and each section lifts on top, and then it's bolted into the wall and to the stair below each time. It's just continuous process of lifting them up, bolting them on. I absolutely loved it. I've never sweated so much in my life. Incredibly hard work, but so fulfilling and enjoyable. It's like a big Lego set. This is the second bedroom level, and in this level we've got now room for a king-size bed, which is amazing, by the way. We never had a king-size bed before. They're also en suite, so we separated the bedrooms and the bathrooms, but just with a sheet of reeded glass wall. Reeded glass is lovely stuff. It's very much of the period. Again, we're talking 60s. It's amazing how well it obscures what's going on in the bathroom whilst letting the light come all the way through. So one of the things with the tower is it's just got windows and light everywhere, and it seemed like such a shame to block any of them off. Colour-wise and aesthetic-wise, again, we've put in some Formica, again, of the period, hardwood trims on everything. The colours of the bedspreads and the cushions and everything, all designed to come in together in the same period. The concrete is a really big part of this building. It's one of the first things you see. First of all, you see, oh, it's conical, and then it's like, wow, it's concrete. And that brutalist concrete is a big part of its heritage, and it really wanted to have it inside as well. Unfortunately, it's a really good conductor of temperature as well, so it's not practical to have any of the exterior walls showing inside as a concrete wall as well. It would have caused all sorts of problems with condensation and just massive heat loss. So the shaft, however, is entirely enclosed, and so we kept sections of the shaft open and kept this big feature in the bedrooms. We've fitted the entire place with smart lighting. Every bulb is always live. There are no fitted light switches. It's nice to be able to do it by voice, and it's nice to do it by an app, but it's actually not very practical. So we have trigger buttons everywhere as well. And the nice thing about that is that as a designer, you don't have to decide what switches you have where and what your lighting settings are going to be before you live in the space. And also you can program them to cycle between different scenes. So here we've got a daytime scene, a nighttime scene, a bedtime scene, a scene for the middle of the night when somebody's going to the loo and you don't want to wake up your partner. And it also means that there's a button by the front door that you can press as you go out, and it switches off all of the lights, closes the lines which are causing thermal drain or thermal gain, and switches all the thermostats to away mode. So, you know, just the sheer convenience of it. Otherwise, in a place like this, you're like, I've left the lights on the top floor, you know, and you're back up 7 flights of stairs to turn off the lights. There's even a little button beside the bath where you can, at night, get undressed with the lights on and the blinds closed, get in the bath, press the button, and the lights go out and the blinds come up. So you can sit next to the window and watch the stars and the planes coming into Luton and Stansted, and it's absolutely magical. This staircase is actually one of my favourite features from it. We bought it from eBay. We've had to change the diameter of it. We've sort of had to reproduce some of the sections, but we've made it fit, and I'm really pleased with the result. It's nice to have a bit of authentic 1960s, 70s architecture sort of built into it as well. At this level, we've sealed off the shaft with this fire door, and that is your refuge in case of fire. From this landing, in order to be able to emerge into the room above on a spiral staircase, and that big reveal was really something for us. We wanted to just come up into the tank, and with all of those windows all the way around, being able to see. It's the first time when you enter the building that you get a full vista all the way around. So this is a secondary staircase which then passes through the floor of the tank into the tank. So this is the old water tank. It's about 10 metres in diameter. Used to hold 50,000 gallons of water. We've had to cut out all of the windows, and we've had taken out that shaft that was the staircase below. That shaft used to go all the way up to the ceiling. With the windows, we used an absolutely fantastic company called Drill Tech. Brilliant guys, not scared of anything. They came up with some very heavy machinery, which we had to carry up ladders at first. We had no other access. They took 3 weeks to remove one window, which was rather longer than they were planning. But once we got the one window out, we were able to set up an I-beam and a lifting chain. And we brought up a thing called a Brock, which is it's like a mini digger without the cabin, with a pneumatic drill on the end of it. And we took out the rest of the windows in a week. So we started to put in the floors below, and to do that we scaffolded only up to 20 foot or so, the first landing level. And the reason why we did that was, if you were to scaffold all the way to the top of the tower, because of its conical shape, by the time you get to the top, your scaffold at ground level is taken up the entire site. And not only that, you've spent about £40,000 for every year that you overrun. And also you're just left with more stairs. What we actually did is we scaffolded it to the level 1, built the floors above off the floors below, and then we bought a scissor lift, and it could reach all the way up to the top, just short of the top of the tower. And for us it was absolutely perfect. It became our lift for all the machinery and materials and everything. The logistics of doing the build, we had to get everything in before we could start sealing up. There's no carrying anything in a door. You can't carry a bathtub up the stairs. So the bath spent about 6 months hanging off the walls so that we could do the floor underneath it and the plaster and plasterboarding all around it and the ceiling above it, keeping yourself out of the way. So I think the only difficulty with the whole build has been the logistics, working at height. Big part of socialising is obviously food and the kitchen and drinks and things. And it's lovely to be able to start with a kitchen from scratch, and also quite a small compact one. The space up here is 10 metres. It's good for 8 people for dinner, but you could probably do 20 or so for some cocktails and things. So here we've got a dishwasher, we've got the cooker taps, we've got this lovely Bora hob here, induction hob. We've got twin ovens, we've got the Bora fridge, freezer. So it's got everything you need, but in a nice compact space. We did work with a kitchen designer, Tower Kitchens, and we've designed it, with all of the things that you need in proximity: teas, coffees, cookware, all of the serving dishes and the plates and the glassware are all around the other side, and there's an extra fridge there for drinks. And then got this under-counter lighting here and the Luxaflex lights. Again, real designed after the period. The black granite tops and the walnut cupboard facings, again, very much of the 1960s colour scheme and periods. So in the general living space, the furniture is all period. Antique, original. There's Cofoed Larsen. I think these are all Cofoed Larsen pieces. The Dioraland dining table is, again, a Danish built, but I think British designed. It's a lovely piece. Circular eating is so much nicer than a rectangular table. Everybody's looking at each other, everybody can talk. And all of these pieces were actually usually found on eBay. The sideboard was from a local dealership. The tapestry, actually, we bought in from the US. It's an original artwork, and because it's on a curved wall, it follows the wall round, which is why we're looking for tapestry. And all the bits of ephemera are actually all of our own from our years of collecting bits of tatons. I don't think we bought anything in particular. The ceiling originally came from a need for good acoustics. So the problem with this sort of modern design living is that you get a lot of hard surfaces and a lot of sound bouncing around. And we are in a circle as well. You know, interestingly, if you stand in the middle of the room and speak, everything comes back at you from all directions. And it's like putting your head in a cardboard box. Lighting, again, Luxaflex for the pendants. All of the lights are, again, smart, so we can set up all sorts of scenes in here. We can do it with the blinds. Actually, it's also worth mentioning that the blinds are used for thermal control as well. We've got a lot of glass, we've got a lot of thermal gain. And so when the thermostats say that the temperature's rising too fast, the blinds will come down automatically to keep the sun out for a bit. A polished concrete floor, underfloor heated. We're underfloor heated throughout, powered by the most amazing Daikin heat pump, and does so at about 400% efficiency. So for every kilowatt of electricity we burn, we're getting 4 kilowatts of heating. And so it's really comfortable in here in the winter. You can see the weather coming in from all angles and have water bashing against the windows or snow, and it's lovely and toasty. Another thing we did with the lights is it was partway through the build, and for whatever reason, we had a fire downstairs, a barbecue going on, and I went out into the field, and when I looked back, the orange of the barbecue was shining up the side of the tower. And it suddenly occurred to me that we were not just designing lighting for the interior, what we were doing was designing lighting that would be seen from afar as well. That was one of the inspirations for the blackout blinds. I think it's quite important not to create an eyesore for our neighbours and for wildlife, actually. But also it was a wonderful opportunity for those periods when you did want to make a statement. I don't know, Halloween, Christmas, a World Cup or something. We have a multicoloured smart bulb in front of every window so that from a distance we can use it like a very coarse dot matrix display. We could make a red flag on it, or make it pulse in orange, or or whatever. I'm now going to take you up onto the roof where you'll see the world. So here we are, 75 foot in the air. I can't really think of many situations where you find yourself this high up with nothing else around you. We're just entirely surrounded by countryside, elevated way above any other building. So it's a very remarkable space, really, and it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, we live in a very green and pleasant land. It's got a very beautiful countryside around us. So what you see up here is just fields and farms, the village. You can see all the way 40 miles into London from here, and you can see the Shard poking out on the horizon, Canary Wharf. You can see Alexander Palace. On spectacular nights, like Bonfire Night, you actually get to watch about half a dozen displays all at once for free from a distance. Meteor showers are amazing. The tower is used as a wayfinding point for a lot of aircraft, so we get a lot of things flying over. The view aside, it's a lovely space. We're about 11 meters in diameter by the time you get up here. We've still got an access system up here, a hoist set up to be able to lift some things back down and bring some things up. It is also very in the weather. You know, whatever the weather is, it's double up here. It's doubly sunny, or it's doubly windy, it's doubly rainy, and so it's not always a lovely place to be. So right now, I'm a bit nippy, it's a bit windy, and in the sun, you just get a lot more sun. I don't know, it's strange. You're closer to it, no shelter, no shade. A big part of the design up here is that we want to keep it with that full 360-degree vista. I don't want to put up a canopy or a shade and umbrella. I don't want any sort of elevated anything to spoil that view. I think it's really important because it is breathtaking. You know, when you come up here and can see all of that all at once, it really brings you to a halt. It's lovely. So it's been about 4.5 years since we started the job. It's been an absolute delight to work on. I feel ever so privileged to find myself in this position. As a building, it's more than capitulated to our plans, it's actually contributed. It's helped us through. The geometry of it has been wonderful and really inspired the whole of the build. And it's a real delight to share it with the world. As I've said, we rent it out through Airbnb. We also have a website. You can contact me through that. If anybody's considering doing something similarly silly, and I'd be more than delighted to help. Yeah, thank you very much, Dan.